people would normally think us the other way around, you know.
And that must have been extraordinarily challenging, to come in from nowhere and no when directly into being a very young human girl on this strange planet Earth with no manual guidelines or information about how it is you were meant to be or what you were meant to be.
Yeah, there's definitely a challenge, and the main challenge was the reaction of others around me towards me. Okay, so for example, I did have some tools. I did come in with some tools. I was able to download information. So if I didn't understand something, normally I would be able to just step into the collective and get it. I was speaking, according to one of my aunts, I was talking like completely perfect Spanish. It was in fact, didn't even have a Chilean accent when I was 9 months old, which for her, she was totally freaked out about it, but nobody else seemed to take any notice. And that was because I was trying to understand what people were saying or what they were trying to communicate, and I couldn't. So I simply downloaded the language and used it, you know. So I can't do that anymore with languages, unfortunately. As in, you know, there's one of those things that I can't do, but for other things I can. And growing up, I think that was part of the way things worked, that I was able to, the things that I needed, I get. But if I'm doing something just because, or, you know, because it's something that I'm interested in, but it's not needed, then I can't do it.
If it's necessary, you'll download the program that you need in order to do the job.
Right.
But if you're just curious, then it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Okay.
It doesn't happen.
I remember there was a time that you told me a couple of weeks ago about, there was once when you found yourself, when you were told that you were speaking perfect Portuguese, another time when you were told that you were speaking Russian,
Right.
and you didn't even realize it.
Yeah, to me, I was speaking English, right? For me, when I look back and I look at my memory, I'm speaking in English. But to the witnesses, I was speaking this other language, which for me is like, okay, I take their word, and I've read about it, and I've found out that there's other people that can do that type of thing, but it's like evidence from somewhere else, you know. It's like, it's not something I can say, yeah, I can do that, because as far as I was concerned, I was speaking English, so.
Yes, sure, it wasn't even conscious.
No, and it's always been a situation where the other person needs help.
Okay.
So it was like a person who was very sick. He had a terminal illness. That was the first time that it was seen. And apparently I was talking to this person in Portuguese for hours, and I had no idea. And other people, again, they were coming in for help or advice. And the last time, it was very simple. It was somebody in the metro in Madrid who were lost.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the metro, and they were completely lost, this family. And I went to help them. And I started giving them directions, showing them how to use the map and where they had to go and everything, and send them on their merry way, say goodbye, turned around, and the person who was with me says, "Did you know, where did you learn Russian? Did you know you were talking in Russian?" I said, "No."
It's a wonderful story. There's another wonderful story which I invite you to tell, and I have to say here on record that I've been talking with INELIA about her experiences for several weeks now, and we haven't got to the end of those stories yet. There are so many of them. One of them that I think is a really neat story is when you were a little girl and you kept on falling over.
Yes. One of the things that I tried to do, because you have to understand, I came in like half an hour before the body was born. And then there had to be a body agreement for me to come in, because it wasn't your regular incarnation where the soul would be there waiting for the body, or, you know, like there's a link between the two and everything. And there was this moment of asking for agreement from the body to take this on, to, you know, it's like, shall we do this? And there was a definite yes, but it was completely different to how I see humans functioning, because I came in and I had no idea how to drive the body, right? So the body kind of intelligence went into the physical body to animate it, to make it alive and to make it function and breathe and everything else. And I was kind of outside and I wanted to do stuff with this body, but I didn't know how. I didn't have the manual. And when I looked into it, it was like a computer that needed to be programmed, right? It needed to learn how to move its arms, grab things, you know, be able to speak and communicate, move the head sideways when I was interested in something that was going on there. And I didn't know how to move this little body's head that way so I could see it, right? And stuff like that. But I was, from that moment, I was not inside the vision, the visuals were outside the body on the back of the head from that moment. And the only thing that changed was that I was trying to move the arms like a puppet, and it just wasn't working, and the body was complaining. So it kind of told me, no, you have to go in and move the arms from within, kind of thing, you know, like getting into a suit. So I did that, but I didn't do it from a viewpoint. I didn't do my viewpoint. I just did like an energy entering, so I was able to move the arms and legs, and it was like programming the body how to function and stuff like that. Very mechanical. It was literally like writing a program on a computer. For me, that's how it was. And the years went by, and I used to see everything. I had a like 360 degree and up and down visual of everything that was going on around me. And I kept falling over time and again because my viewpoint was around here, so I couldn't see what was in front of me as I was walking in the street, for example, and because the head was on the way, right? So I kept falling over, and I had continuously, my knees were always bleeding, and my face was always smashed, my lips were always fat because I kept falling on my head. And then one day my mom says, why can't you use your eyes? You know, just use your eyes. Look at what's in front of you. So I said to her, well, I can't, because when I looked through my eyes, it was like two tiny little pinpricks that you can only see a tiny little bit of what's going on. And then she says, well, what are you doing now? So I said, well, I can see everything. And she, you know, and then again, you know, it's like it was like, I can't remember the exact conversation, but it went something like, well, get into your body right now and use your eyes, you know, just start using your eyes. And being like, I think it was just before I started school, so I was about 4 years old. Being a child, 4 years old, you do what your mommy tells you. So I did that, and for me it was horrible. I could hardly see anything, and I had to point my head everywhere so I could see what was going on, you know. And I couldn't turn my head all the way around, so I never knew what was going on behind me. It was very disconcerting for quite a long time. But I stopped falling over because I could see what was in front of me.
And even now, you can leave your body any time you want to, go wandering around and travel around the universe and see everything you want to see, right?
Yes, yes. And I kind of have to do that because otherwise it's a little bit claustrophobic to be here all the time.
It's claustrophobic in this human body. It's like you're kind of trapped in this limited jail cell, this machine. It's like being in a car with very small windows.
Yeah, very small windows, and like something's put over your ears so you can't hear everything, and you know, or feel anything. It's like sensory deprivation.
Right. So you have these extraordinary gifts that, of course, I understand that these are natural abilities that all spiritual beings have, but most people who've been in bodies for millions of lifetimes have completely lost these abilities. They can't even, it's not even real for them that they're there.
Right.
And you're coming in fresh with this huge toolkit of things that every spiritual being can do.
Yes.
What else can you do?
You have to be more specific.
Okay. There's a wonderful story that you told when you were watching a television program. It's such a great story.
Well, I'm a bit of a TV addict, unfortunately, like in the purest sense of the word, that if somebody switches a TV in front of me, it's like I get hooked on it and I can't detach from, especially if it's a program that I want to see. If there's something I'm not interested in, I can just walk away, but if it's a movie, normally movies or